We've got a very international spread. That's nice to see. And we're on live now. So just to say welcome to all of those who are just watching us today. Thank you for joining our session. We're just hanging on for 5 minutes while participants join in. And for those who are just watching today, we do have some ways for you to interact with us, even though you can't join the breakout rooms. So I have a Slido link for you, and we have a few kind of questions there. So you're welcome to join in and interact with us that way. I'll be posting that link just after we've done the introductions. So I think we'll just give it just until 35 minutes, just to allow people a bit of time to join. And I think if we, not all of the participants who signed up on Eventbrite are joining us today, then I think there's the option to click join now from the live stream, and we can let some of you in, up to 60 people. So you're welcome to use that link or use that join now button. So Axel, you just said about can't see any breakout room. That's because we're not going into the breakout rooms just yet. I'm going to introduce us in just a few moments and explain what we're going to do, and then we'll open the breakout rooms. So yeah, please do introduce yourselves in the chat or on microphone and camera if you wish. So we're at 25 minutes to, so I think we'll just sort of get started. So welcome to everyone that has joined us so far today to this hackathon, Urban Resilience Through Innovation Climate Hackathon. The session today is going to be quite interactive, so we'll be going into breakout rooms, but I know that there are people joining us to watch, just watch and not interact. We can accept up to 60 people into the hackathon today. So if you are watching through the live link but decide you would like to join in there, I think there is a join now button, so you can click on that and join us in person to take part as well. So my name is Rose Kaywood Campbell. I work at Glasgow Caledonian University. I'm going to facilitate the session today. And I am a social innovation manager within the Research and Innovation Office there. We have 3 other speakers, panelists, and experts with us today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves properly to you. So we have Murray, if you can maybe go first and just tell us who you are and where you work and what your kind of interests in terms of climate resilience are, please.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Murray Mckaler. I'm an architect and I work for a multidisciplinary design studio in Glasgow called Arts, and it's a landscape-led studio, so mostly landscape architects, urban designers and artists. And we've done a huge amount of different studies on surface water management, integrated green infrastructure, green networks, so strategic work down to design and delivery of climate resilience projects, education, health, housing, all sorts, and everything, a bit of everything. So really interested in the design and delivery of parks and green spaces in cities and how we can improve them for climate resilience. That's
Thank you, Murray.
Yeah.
And I should say that Murray and Cornell and Gillian will be in some of the rooms today and talking to you and sort of trying to draw out ideas. So Cornell, you're next on my screen. If you could please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. Hi, I'm Cornell Henson. I'm based in Edinburgh in Scotland, originally from Australia, as you might guess from my voice. I work for the Centre of Ethnic Minority Voluntary Organisations, also known as CEMVO Scotland. And I also coordinate the Ethnic Minority Environmental Network. And my area of interest is engagement and upskilling of underrepresented groups when we're talking about methodologies and projects in urban resilience.
Thank you, Cornell. And then we have Gillian, if you please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Gillian Dick. I'm a spatial planning manager at Glasgow City Council within our development plan group, and I have the lead for our impact assessment and monitoring data that we're gathering on the open space strategy and for other types of land use. And we jointly co-authored with our colleagues in sustainability Glasgow's climate plan, and we're trying to use the open space as a nature-based solution. So we're one of the front-runner cities in the Horizon 2020 Connecting Nature project, where we co-lead with the University of A Coruña on the impact assessment. And I'm big on asking the map, so understanding the different multifunctional uses that you can have for land, and that you can use it in a different way, so a place isn't just somewhere that is a flood alleviation scheme, or it isn't just a play area. There can be lots of things, and some of our open space can also be on the roof of buildings or the side of buildings, for instance.
Thank you, Gillian. And everyone here is going to have the opportunity when they're in their breakout rooms to introduce themselves and interact a little bit. I think we may have people kind of coming in slowly. And so you may have new people joining your team a little bit later. So I'm going to just quickly explain how the hackathon is going to work today. So what we're going to do is open some breakout rooms. I think what we might begin with is to open 3 breakout rooms, and Gillian, Cornell, and Murray will be each one in one of these rooms, and with a few of yourselves. And we have a challenge for you that we'd like you to work on for sort of 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. And this is on a Miro board in which I'm going to open and just explain and read it through to you, but I'll also be posting that link as well as links for a presentation slide that we'd like you to work on. So we basically like you to think about the challenge that we have, and work together, brainstorm together to think about how you would deliver a solution to the question and the challenge that we've given you. And we'd like you to do that on the Google Sheet, Google Slides, through that link that I'm going to send you. So without further ado, what I will do is just share the Miro board with you now and just take you through that that question and your task. So the question that we'd like you to think about today is, how and what would you do to improve a place that benefits the local community and climate? So your task here is written in the pink box. So what we'd like you to do is pick 3 of the challenges that are in the blue box, which is over here, and I'll just show you that in a moment. Bearing in mind the attributes of the area, which we've also listed in that box, and your 3 challenges, if you can work with your group for approximately 20 to 30 minutes to outline a climate resilient solution to the question in the yellow box. We'd like you to write your idea out on just one PowerPoint slide, and then you will come back into the main session and present and feedback for 2 minutes on your idea to the main room. We're going to probably be quite strict about time, so you'll have to be very concise, and then there'll be the opportunity for us to have a bit of dialogue about that and hear from Murray, Cornell and Gillian, their reflections as well as experts in this field. So you can be as creative as you like. This is an in theory task. You can think about revenue streams for your ideas' sustainability. We'd like you to think of that. We'd like you to consider long-term maintenance and management of your idea of your place. So this could be through stewardship or asset transferred space, for example, amongst other things. We'd like you to consider how to make it an inclusive space, as well as how you will handle conflicting interests, multi-use, as well as how you will give the community nearby a sense of ownership. And so here we have outlined the challenges. The area has the following challenges, which is vacant and derelict land. It might be contaminated. There is no shelter from rain or heat. There's no vegetation. It looks abandoned. It's poorly connected in terms of transport links. There's air pollution from heavy traffic, noise issues, a lack of biodiverse planting monoculture. It's not fit for function surfaces. It has flooding issues and poor security, but it has the following characteristics or attributes. It's an open space in a densely built up area. It's in a socially deprived area. It's close to immediately or has immediately adjacent neighborhoods. It's near to a school or a community center, and it's within walking distance of the local neighborhood. So what I will do as well is I will share that link to the main chat, and as well as the slides links. And so we've set the slides up so that you can, you'll be in breakout rooms. So breakout room 1 will be using team 1 slides link. So there's different ones. So you're not all working in the same document and you're working in your own team document. But what I'll do when I open the rooms as well is I'll go around and just make sure you've got the right links and everything's working. So what I will do is just quickly post this Miro link for you, and then we'll open the rooms up. Just bear with me a moment. And I'll post it in. So hopefully you can all see this in Miro when I post it. But if anyone's having any problems, just let your group know when you're in it, and the facilitator in your group, whether it's Murray, Cornell or Gillian, and they will be able to share what's in there as well for you. So I will open the rooms and then I will come around with your specific slides. So just bear with me a moment. I'm going to open 3 rooms. A second. Okay, so here we go. If you can join your rooms now.
इस अभियान को अपने ड्यूटी का हिस्सा ही बना लिया, जिसने अपने डिपार्टमेंट की उम्मीद से ज्यादा इस फील्ड में काम किया। डीएसपी साहब हमारे बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, संतोष जी।
So those who are still here in the main session, if you can join to your group that I've sent you to, please. So for anyone that is joining us just watching live, we're now in breakout rooms for sort of 20 to 25 minutes while they devise ideas. And what I'm going to do is, if you are interested, I set up Slido with just some questions and a word cloud. So it's just very easy interaction. But if you do want to interact with us today, you are more than welcome. So this is the slide here. You can use the QR code, it'll just take you straight there. Or you can search for Slido and you can use this number 341-852 to join in. Just make that full screen there. But if you do want to hang on, we'll be coming back and discussing the ideas from the hackathon at sort of 10 past, 15 minutes past, and then we'll have a bit of a discussion with the panelists. So it looks like someone might have just joined us. To that person, welcome. We've actually started the hackathon now, but I will send you over to one of the breakout rooms for you to join in the discussion in there. So I think the Slido hadn't started yet, but I've just set it up, so it should be working now. So please do have a look if you're interested. So I think we've just had someone just join us now. So to that person, I'm just going to send you to one of the rooms, the breakout rooms, so you can join in for the remainder of the time. So it looks like we might have just had someone join us in the main session. So as the breakout rooms are in full swing, I'll just pop you into one of those breakout rooms and you can just join in for the last bit. So I think we're just starting to see people trickle back through. And probably most of the others will have joined us in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm seeing smiles, so hopefully everyone's feeling invigorated from your brainstorming session. Just waiting for the rooms to kick everyone out. So now we have a little chance for some feedback on the ideas that were generated. So if I could ask someone from each of the rooms, it might end up being you, Gillian, Murray, and Cornell, just to share the slide with us and give us the feedback about what kind of idea you came up with.
Do you want me to go first, seeing as I was in room one?
Why not? And
Yeah.
It's sort of roughly, 1 to 2 minutes of feedback time, but I'm sure you'll keep to that.
Okay, I will share the screen very, very quickly. So we had a few people in our room from Greece and from Africa. We decided to talk about air pollution. We started with flooding, but we said water issues and contamination. So the conversation around air pollution was talking about, it's a bit guddled when you look at the slide, but I'll go to the air pollution bit, was about either artificial trees or green walls. The folk were saying that they thought artificial walls or artificial trees would capture more contaminants than real trees. So we were starting to get into debate about whether you could have artificial walls but real vegetation. We kind of left that pinned to the wall because we were then kind of looking, excuse the pun, at water issues. So two different ones, that there are some communities where it rains, it really floods, and you get real issues about people having to move out of their houses or away from their areas and losing crops. Or you get the other issue, which is the lack of water, and that lack of water can be a combination of various things. It can be a combination of contested pulls on that water. So new industry can pull water away from communities, and it can be that lack of access to water. So the ideas that we're being coming out with were a real push to have a sense of what the issues are in each community and adapt the tech or the nature-based solution of the climate adaptive to that community, and understanding that you have to be pragmatic and practical and look at what's feasible in the context of the country that you're in, and don't push people to use tech till they're ready, because they may not have the funding to be able to implement it properly. It kind of led us into discussion that a lot of the water that is available in the global south is probably contaminated because of behaviour, either from us in the global north of passing all our waste on to them, or dealing with the waste so that stuff just gets pumped into the water and plastics get abandoned, and that we need to look at how we can pragmatically use some of those problems and turn them into positives. So can we convert some of that waste, whether it's human waste or plastics, whatever, into energy? Can we use some of the tech, if there's low tech, to decontaminate the water or to decontaminate the air? So it was about behavioural change, institutional change, and about sharing those resources in a more equitable way is where we got to. I'll stop sharing there.
Thanks, Gillian. That's really interesting. You're kind of getting into like circular economy a little bit there as well. It's great to see there was such a fruitful discussion. Cornell, I think you were group 2, if you'd like to go next.
Yep, we'll go next. So I think We're all good there. So the challenges that we looked at was that we had a space that had zero vegetation. It looked abandoned, and that looked abandoned was an interesting one because, people could own it, or people without homes could be using the space. And we also looked at the idea of air pollution from heavy traffic. So we started off with one idea, which was to create a green space within the area, which is mostly equipped with native plants. And this may be something of a kind of like a mini forest or a mini little biome in there. And the idea behind the native plants is that they will always be more equipped to the environment that is there and will require a lower amount of maintenance. And then this will be a running theme through our ideas, is that it allows it to be an educational purpose. If you're in a neighborhood that's surrounded by concrete that doesn't have a lot of green spaces, then this becomes one of your entry points, especially for young kids coming into this, is the entry point into the wider environment. And especially if you start off with native plants, and that's a great place to start. Then you can look at if for other opportunities, if more plants that are a bit more hardy and self-sustaining, looking at vegetation itself that acts more of a natural filter, and designing the area to be more of a filter. So that may be a lining on the outside with the thicket of the biome being within the middle, or within maybe on the more heaviest roadside of the space. And another utilization of the area was a separate community garden, and a shared space, something that really brings people in, and then again provides another educational and gathering space sort of thing. The shared space itself can have something like an eco building, which is where you're utilizing walls, roof, everything for whatever purpose that community needs. And one example that Karen put up was the Sonoma Academy in Santa Rosa, California. If anyone has some time and wants to Google that and look for themselves, but that's a very good example that was put up. Another thing that was thought up which could be anywhere within this space, is an art space for the purpose of the community, which kind of can be like a rotational space, which also adds into the idea where people are really, making use of this, utilizing it, they're engaged, and then the maintenance of it all is kind of taken care of by this community because people are constantly using it. Depending on obviously the space and the size of it, there may be some space for market space, people who want to, sell their own things. Then this could also be brought into like the whole circular community thing, people utilizing the resources they have in the area to make their art, whatever medium that may be, and maybe bringing in people from around the city into this area and boost their local economy and, really create this social cohesion throughout the area. And that will also kind of, having this space there will mean people don't have to drive away from there. So maybe that'll have a kind of knock-on effect on the heavy traffic situation, which will lower the air pollution. And then we kind of stepped on the idea of who's going to take care of this in the long term, who are the stewards of this space, and who is going to like pay for it, where's the money coming from, where's the time coming from. And the idea of associations and communities come into hand, and where they can take care of it, there may be a small nominal fee, but they all tie into it because it is a use for the community. And another good idea about it was that the long-term management of things like the garden beds, the native area, really can be tied into educational academic programs where people are required to, maintain, learn, teach in these areas. And so that really ties into that long-term stewardship, so where everyone is kind of getting involved, has a space, has a reason for it to keep going. That's more or less what we came up with.
Great, thank you, Cornell. And I'll just move to Murray last, and then we'll hopefully have a chance to just chat about it a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
So do you want to speak? Are you happy to speak?
Yes,
you go for
hello. Hi, guys. So we are team 3, and then I will show you slides. Okay, so you see it, right? Sorry, I have so many tabs. Yeah, so like my background is like also environmental engineering, and Murray's background is also like architecture, and he's working also green buildings. And what we choose as a challenge, like flooding, looks abundant, lack of biodiverse planting, and noise and air pollution. Because we are like based in different countries, like I'm based in Berlin, Murray based in Glasgow, and Sola based in Lagos. So we had like different challenges in our cities. So what is our climate resilient solutions for that? For the flooding, actually, like this has also happened like lastly in Germany, and it was very affecting very bad on like has very effects on the people. And actually this could be solved by like sewer system management. Like if we decentralize all the sewers, like the sewer system, because like they are like mostly like the cities that we are living now, they're like mostly have the old sewer system. And if we have this like the management, if we can rainwater management, like and reuse this rainwater for the vegetation, and for example, to slow, we can also do in the cities, like if we really do like a good vegetation systems, like on the land, and also like on the cities, on the roads. This is like a really good management for the rainwater, and this is also just decreasing the effects of rain, the flooding. So we can also have like a nature-based solutions. This is also another solution that we can offer. This is also like a smart management of water in the canal, like as a storage water. So we store there the water, and we can use this water again in the water cycle back. So it's not going away. So, and for the abandoned space, we have actually very creative ideas. So this is actually like this kind of spaces. They're like much, and like there are a lot in Berlin. And what we were thinking, like in this abandoned space, and if it's like a lack of biodiversity, we can actually first use this abandoned space first, like with tree planting, like in the round of the space. And tree planting is actually for the carbon capture and storage is a very, now it's like so many companies are also doing this, like to trade the carbon dioxide. And we can use this tree planting companies, like also to generate income. And we can, and in this space, like the tree planting, we can also like, with the vegetation space, we can also use like an employment. And we want to actually make like in the abandoned space, like a sustainable community center, which is like combined with workshops, educational workshops, clubs, and also like art spaces, like in Berlin. Like this is actually what we want, what we are thinking, like for long-term management, to make a community center that everyone can join, that is like open for everyone, but it's also like an event space. So like the people, like some communities who wants to like make events, they need to pay. So this is also like another income for us, like a revenue stream. And for example, like the workshops, like some of the workshops, like sustainable workshops, for example, we open for everyone, but like there could be some special workshop, I don't know, like design thinking for a company, for example, if they are like making the space, so they need to pay us. And exactly, and also like the club, like at night, like if they use the space for some like music events or like art spaces. So we have also like a long-term income. And for the noise and air pollution, what we thought is like zoning the areas, like actually like what we can do, like in the city, it's important, like as for the resilience, like to like the zone, like the residential, like the office areas, the land and stuff. So this is if we zone these areas, and then if we do like a green infrastructure, what I mean is like, for example, like green roofs, and if you do like in the roofs, like PV systems, like solar systems, like to get energy, the clean energy. And if you surround these residential areas also with the trees, like you see here, like there are like residential areas, but there are also like trees just surrounding them. So this is also like another option, like to decrease the noise pollution and also the air pollution. Yeah, this is like our
Brilliant.
challenges.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
so interesting, and such a variety of different ideas that have come up in the three groups. So I know we're kind of sort of bleeding into the end of the sessions now, firstly, just to say thank you so much to our participants, as well as our three facilitators / panelists. What I'd love to do is just get a bit of feedback from Gillian, Murray and Cornell as experts in this field about your sort of reflections on the things that have come out of the exercise, and perhaps some sort of key takeaways for you in terms of how do we build a more sustainable and more climate resilient cities going forwards. So maybe Gillian, you're on my screen first, if you'd like to come back first.
Yeah, just very quickly, I think what springs out to me is it's all about the place. It's about the context and taking a community with you. So even in the three different kind of presentations that were there was an acknowledgement of the place and the context and what was doable. And I think that's, if we're going to be resilient, we have to kind of take communities with us and understand the context that a community works in, and not assume that everybody is an expert like us and knows what they're doing, and that there needs to be that kind of explanation, that step by step, I think, is my take home.
Thank you, Gillian. And Murray, what about your sort of thoughts? You're next on my screen, so I've just gone to you next.
I think, yeah, just the different places around the world obviously is the most amazing thing to think about, and that different places will need different solutions. And that also you need to think about both the institutions and the sort of top-down stuff as well as the bottom-up things. So there's issues around access and how people get to things, as opposed to just creating something that's good in the first place. You've got to think about how people get to it as well. So yeah, let's see those.
Thank you. And Cornell, what are your sort of thoughts?
My first thought is it's just an extension of what Murray said. I think when you're looking at a place and looking at building it for urban resilience and for the local community, you have to look at the context that that community and that space has gone through over time. There may be reasons why that is there that you may not know, which may have happened 50 years ago. Communities may have changed over time, and you may have to look into the future of what communities may look like in that area and account for those sort of things. The second point I wanted to put out was that when everyone was doing, their area and building up their solutions, so many of these solutions were one thing solving three different things at once. So it's taking that multifaceted approach to things and making sure that you're getting the most out of each little part that you're putting it into, looking at what's the environmental, social, economic aspect that that solution is putting into that space.
Thank you, Cornell. I think we're hitting the end here, and I don't want to hold people past the time that we were scheduled for, as I know everyone's busy and there'll be other talks and things like that people want to get to. So just to say from me, thank you so much to those who have joined us today, either to participate or to just listen along. It's been a great, short, sweet and focused session. It's been very interesting from my perspective to hear. I always love to hear the kind of creative ideas that people come up with. And a special thanks to Gillian, Murray and Cornell for joining us today and bringing your expertise and joining each of the groups and facilitating the groups as well so well. And hopefully everyone's feeling kind of creative and invigorated after the end of that, and we're all going to go out and come up with some great ideas to solve the challenges that we have in our cities. So yes, without further ado, just thank you to everyone, and well done as well to the groups for all the great ideas that you came up with.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks,
everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice
Goodbye.
to meet everyone. Take
Nice to meet
care.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.